do they actually have an office? Do they have a working office? And do they have an outreach program?
Yes and no. Yes, they have it, but they don't advertise it because haters will find the place, go in there and shoot people because of what it stands for. So you might have a straight person volunteering to help whatever. The majority of people there would be gay, of course. But what if you have a straight person that says, I'm willing to help? And they advertise where they're located. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, gay people are afraid to go there because now that that address is there, mobs are going to surround the place, throw gasoline on the place, and burn it while people are in there. And they were going to say, we don't want that batty boy business. And it's just going to cause more hostility. So to find them, it's more like an underground thing. You remember the days where you want to get into a gay bar, you have to knock a certain way for them to let you in? Mm-hmm. That's how J-Flag is right now. Unless it got better since I was there the last time. But you can't be safe looking for it because people are looking to cause trouble with you.
Well, you know, I found that now that you said that you have to knock, I found that rather strange. I actually, when I was in Ottawa doing the show, I was working with a performer, and she told me she had to go somewhere before the show. So we ended up stopping by the Ottawa Coalition for AIDS. And I found it strange that it was in a building, in the back of the building, and she actually had to ring a doorbell. I was shocked because in Toronto, that doesn't happen. You just walk right in the door, mm-hmm. and everybody knows the address. That's and right. I found that this backward thinking thing has to go. But I understand safety is first. And I understand people want to help, but I understand that sometimes you just have to take the next step to make sure that the programs that you are offering, the people are able to access without fear and without any kind of drama. They should be able to walk into that place and access the services that are there for them. Now, the government should be looking into that in Jamaica, because if the program is there, that means that they gave them a permit to put this program in place. So they should provide security to make sure that the place is safe for people who are living in the situation that I saw in those gullies. Those are awful. Those young men and women should have access to proper health care and proper housing and some access to jobs or some access to just the fact of that they're human beings, they have a place that they fit in and not in the sewer system. Why is it that it's called why are they called gully queens?
Number one, it's because it is a gully that you have to go through this fence that has a cut in it, and you go down. It's pretty much sewage water. When it rains, all that water just floods the place. They have nowhere to go, really, because mm-hmm. now, let's say that one of them needs something to eat. They got nowhere to go. They have no friends they can ask. They have no family anymore. The family ditched them. They can't go to the church and ask for help. No, you chose that lifestyle. This is not for you. You're going to hell. So now you think, okay, I need to earn some money. So they get the makeup and they do this on the camera in the gully, pretty much dressing up in drag, but they're not going to a stage show the way how drag queens here would. They're going out there now as male prostitutes dressing up in drag. I need to earn money because I'm starving. These are the things they say, I would never do something like that. That's when you're home closeted. Once you're pushed out for being gay, just like a drug addict, you're doing the very thing that you said you would never do. So they are admitting, I don't like this life, but what choice do I have? If I don't do it, I'm going to starve and die.
Well, you know, I found it rather strange. I think that sometimes, this is just from my opinion, sometimes I think when we have organizations, they have to just step up a little bit harder. Because when I saw those young men and women, or the ones that, you know, who identify as women, were all cut up from knives and stabbings and all this stuff. That is something that Jamaica really needs to look at. And not only that, what I found more shocking is that these are young people. These are young people. Where are their mothers? The mothers who go to church and say that they're Christians and that they abide by God. And they had these children, and so what if the child is gay? It's your child. And not only that, this child is young and living in a gully, in sewage water. And you mean to tell me that the people of Jamaica drive past this every day and see these young children out there looking the way they are and abused the way they are, and they do absolutely nothing?
That's what they do. Now,
so what do you think should be done?
I think the whole thing has to be done in stages. It has to be, because if it was a place in the United States or in Canada, we'd have better success. But because it's Jamaica, it's probably the most homophobic country in the entire world. Now, the reason why they're making strides to do better is because the music industry took a big punch. Back in the early 90s, 1992, I was living there. And I had to pack up and say goodbye to all the things my family did for me, because they wanted me to have this business and live, as an independent grown man. But the problem was, homophobia was so bad at that time. So nobody had to tease me or anything. I would be getting ready for bed, the radio's on, and you'd hear the song, boom, bye, bye, in a batty boy. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting bullied over music. So I felt unsafe just listening to the music. The next day I go to the business to open up the shop. Here is this gay guy being beaten up on the streets and everyone's laughing. We didn't have cell phones as popular then as we do now. But to watch a gay guy in Jamaica get beaten up by a bunch of people, it's like watching a drag queen doing an amazing job. Yay, cheers. Cheer to beating him up and watching him get murdered. That's the life that was going on when I was there. One day, somebody was singing the homophobic lyrics at a restaurant where I frequently go, because my family had restaurants too. And when I heard that, the guy looked over at me and it's almost like he's hinting to me, I'm talking about you. And that's when I said, you know what? That's it. Air Canada, when's your next flight? I just packed up and left out of fear. So being here is a safer place for me, but it doesn't change the fact that it's happening to other people. So
I just found it rather strange that even though I have a lot of Jamaican friends here and I hang out with them and we laugh and giggle and stuff, and I find it rather strange that they don't bring more attention to those young LGBT two-spirit people there in that gully. That is something that really needs to be addressed. And second of all, we understand drug addicts, we understand difference of opinions, but that is inexcusable. To drive past those young men and women who are just starting out their lives, can't figure out really who they are because they're forced into situations, whether they're gay, straight, black, or white, down in these gullies because somebody thinks that they're gay or they're just different. They don't know what they are. And it's for them to drive past that every day is an insult. And for the women of Jamaica who have these young children and turn them out like that and just put their children on the street, you should be ashamed. Ashamed. And mainly if you call yourself a Christian, and you put your son out on the road because he is a gay or identify as transgendered or however the situation is, and you put this you should be ashamed. And you should think about when you were growing up and you didn't really know who you were and what you were all about. Your parents didn't put you out on the street like that. And for the men or whoever are abusing those young children in that gully, stabbing them up, and cutting them, you need to be in prison. You need to be in prison, and the LGBT community needs to try and track down these people, take license plates, do whatever, put cameras near the gullies so you can watch what the children are doing, regardless if they're forced into this situation. This situation needs to have some sort of an eye, because these young children, this cannot just go on like this here, and people think that this is acceptable. And mainly when you say Jamaica has churches, 40 churches within a mile difference. I mean, within a mile. Come on. First of all, those churches should be ashamed as well for letting those young children be out there in the gully and not give them any food or any kind of support. Yeah, it's easy for me to talk, but yes, it's easy for me to talk, but don't put stuff online that shows these young children telling you the truth, showing you their stab wounds, showing you they're hurting, showing you that they're sleeping in the tunnels. This is stuff that are not lies. This is the truth. And the government of Jamaica needs to pay attention to help those children. They do. And whatever the LGBT community is doing, you need to step up your game a little bit more. Send some messages to the Queen of England, who used to be, you guys used to be a British colony, right? So you send some stuff up there to that queen, and you keep knocking on her door to pay attention to what's going on in Jamaica. If you stop the money coming into Jamaica, it'll get a lot of people's attention down there.
Actually, funny you mention that. Okay, money coming to Jamaica, that's the artists leaving to go and make money abroad. Dancehall is so popular all over the world. When they heard the homophobic slurs, the money stopped coming in. Boycott this, shows are canceled. All of a sudden now you can't get any work and you're a #1 artist. Well, if you're going to spread hatred in your music, we're not going to support you in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, in New York, in all these places. You're just not welcome here. So go back to Jamaica. So now you got these artists that have to perform locally because only the Jamaicans that live there appreciate the homophobia, where the rest of the world does not. So it did fix things. So that's why the homophobia today is not as bad. When I went there in 2017, all I heard, homophobic, somebody was driving in front of my sister my sister accidentally cut some guy off and he didn't like it. And he just said, "Bati boy." I'm thinking like, wait a second, you're a girl. Is he talking to me? No, that's just their way of saying F you. But that was it.
So do they have a pride parade in Jamaica?
They had one, but I don't know if it still exists because even though people are proud to be gay and they want to express it, they're not proud to say, I'm taking the chance of facing death. Because you can get murdered at a pride parade just because people are standing on rooftops and throwing big rocks at you and hoping that they hit you in the head.
Oh my God.
Yes, that's the way it used to be when I was there, which is why I got the hell out. Because if this is how I feel with music played to me and homophobes are being fueled by the hatred in the music, the hate crime for gays went up when those songs came out. And I said, this song has got to get away from #1. Why does the radio station allow them to say these things and not filter anything? That's
well, I did notice the one guy, I can't remember what his name is. I think it starts with a B. And he was trying to go to New York to do a show. And the governor of New York said that he didn't want that in the country, in his city. I forgot what his name was. And he was doing the homophobic lyrics to this one song that was really popular. And he went to the border. I guess they went to the border. They had them arranged a show in New York. And when they got there, the mayor said that they weren't going to allow them in the country because of these homophobic songs and all this stuff. So they kept, like you said, they kept turning them back in the US because they weren't having that. They weren't down there trying to incite anything, because New York is one of the most liberal places in the U.S. for gays. I mean, they have the biggest gay pride, almost one of the biggest gay pride parades in the U.S., New York. So they weren't going to have him. Now, You know, when I used to listen to what's her name, Patra, and
Yes.
a few of the other ones, and there was one woman that used to do this one song, Kill the Batiman, Kill the Batiman. I can't remember who she was, but as I did notice, a lot of the Jamaican songs have fallen off of the charts because of this kind of these kind of rants and discrimination things that people think are acceptable. Now, I want to know, why is it that, where does this come from in Jamaica? Where does this hatred of gays come from?
It comes from the streets too, because they set a certain tone. You need to look a certain amount of masculinity. And there's this saying, as a man, I don't ever want to be a good-looking man. No, I don't want to be as good-looking as my girlfriend. No, she's the one that's supposed to be pretty. So the uglier I am, the better. A lot of guys will say that. No guy here wants to be referred to as ugly. People want to be referred to as good-looking. Do you think I'm cute? Does this look good on me? Oh, God, no. In Jamaica, the homophobes, the straight guys that say we don't want that here, I love being an ugly, gold-teeth man, mash mouth, because the uglier I am, the cuter she looks.
Now, for the young, what do you think should happen? What do you think the young children in those gullies should be doing to get out? Or are they just stuck there?
They're stuck there, and they're doing what they can to get out. The problem is, you get out of there, that's the easy part. Where are you going? You have nowhere to go. So they still need to eat. So they go sell their bodies, sell drugs, do whatever it takes. That way they can have that slice of bread or the beef patty with the cocoa bread and the box juice. At least they're saying, I'm finally full. Oh gosh, thank gosh. Now I have to have a shower. Go back in the gully where the fire hydrant is leaking and they bathe there. It's fresh, clean water, but what? Got your bathroom? Where you sleep? Got your bathroom? Yes. Why can't you go to a friend's house? My mother doesn't want you here because guess what? We found out you're gay. And the bad thing is, that boy is also gay, closeted. He can't let his mother know that he's gay, and especially the father, because he too will get thrown out and end up in the same gully. So you're not welcome to my house anymore like you once were. So it just snowballs another problem. And like you said, people need to go to prison. Funny you mention that. The gully queens, from what I was told, are the most violent people in the country now. They purposely go out and commit crimes because they know if they commit a bad crime, they're going to get arrested. They get to go to prison. They got 3 meals a day and a place to stay. It's better than the gully. So they will commit the crime to get out of the gully by being there. So now, if you're going to get stabbed and whatever, it's going to happen indoors. You're safe. That's the mentality.
Well, you know, I was going to say that the government of Jamaica should be ashamed because the queens, or the gully queens, which they call them, are treated less than men or people in prison who have committed heinous crimes. And these are young children in the gully. That means that a lot of them haven't committed a lot of crimes, or they're just trying to get by, or they're just young kids trying to figure out who they are. And like you said, it's shameful that they are now committing these crimes just to go to jail so they have 3 meals a day and a roof over their head. You know, shame on Jamaica. Shame on Jamaica. I don't care who says anything about anything. Shameful the way you treat the LGBT community in Jamaica. It's a shame. And you really need to rethink that and try to help those young people get their lives started, regardless of what they identify as and where they come from. Give them a great start in life, or try to help them get a start in life, because a lot of those young kids should be in school.
Exactly. You want to know something else interesting about that? I have a couple of Jamaican friends here that go to the local gay bar. They will message me or they'll call me and they say to me, oh, do you want to go to that place? That's the code, that place.
Oh.
And I'm like, when? What time? And that's how they say, do you want to go to the gay bar? You're telling me you're so scared from what you've seen in Jamaica. Now that you're living in Canada, you're telling me you can't say the word gay on the phone. You're afraid that that word's going to trigger something. And that fear has been put there for the longest time. So you have grown-ups that will not use the word gay on the phone. No, we're going to go to that place. If I walk down the street with you and that Jamaican comes up to me and say, who is this one? Let's say if you're not in drag, you're just out in your boy clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say Larry's gay. Don't say that word. No. The code word is, oh, he goes to our church.
Mm-hmm.
Our church, our community. So when a Jamaican comes to me and says,